When it comes to improving the relationship dynamics between men and women need to improve the way that we communicate with one another. I say that to say this. A lot of women need to start listening to understand and not respond. Again, a lot of women need to start listening to understand and not respond. Now, I know a lot of ladies watching this video may say or will say, well, men need to do the same thing. I agree with you. And so you need to make that post, make that video, and make that known so that the men can be enlightened as to what to do in regards to understanding women. This video is for what women need to do or what women need to apply to their relationship in order to better understand men. I put up a post that pretty much said that women want to learn, know about, talk about, listen to, or understand men on their terms. On any terms that they agree with, that's what they flow with. Some women, not all women. To whereas if you tell them something about men that they disagree with or that they don't understand or that they have a misconception on, they automatically debate it, even if it's coming from the source, which is a man being honest with you and telling you the truth about men. They automatically debate it because it's something that they do not agree with. And a lot of women only want to understand, get to know, and listen to men on terms that they agree with. And that never works out positively, nor does it ever work out effectively. If you really want to get to know men, then get to know men. And if you really want to know more about us, then listen to us when we speak and we share honest insight into how we are and who we are. No, all men are not the same. If I have to preface every comment that I make with not all men or not all women, then there's no need to make the comment. I think it's common sense understanding. I think it is common sense understanding to know that not all people do any and all things. So with that being said, a lot of men, when you're talking with us, we want you to listen. And before you respond, understand what it is that we're saying. I received a comment that said men only want women to listen and not respond. And that's not necessarily true. That's not true at all. Men want women to listen and then respond if your response has something to do with what we were just conversing about, what we were just talking about. If your response has anything to do with something other than what we just had this conversation about, or if it's you talking at me and not talking with me and not actually trying to help me, but you're actually trying to put your 2 cents in on what it is that I'm sharing with you, especially if it's something deep-rooted that I'm sharing with you. We don't always need your 2 cents. We don't always need your, well, I think you should do this. All we need sometimes is for you to listen, to understand, and then respond. And then let us know that you actually hear what we're saying, and you're not just waiting for your opportunity to speak. Yes, men need to do this as well. I get it. I understand it. I agree with it. But I'm talking, again, to the ladies. If you want to communicate with a man better, then listen to understand. We don't communicate the same. Yes, men and women have feelings, but we don't feel the same. There are a lot of dynamics between us that both men and women have misunderstandings on, misconceptions about. Everything is not the same. We don't experience life the same. But if you want an effective relationship with your partner, then it would be best for you to listen, absorb what it is that they're saying, watch their behaviors, watch what they do, gather an understanding about them. Because we not only communicate verbally, but we communicate through our bodies, through our actions, through our behaviors, through our responses, through our reactions. We communicate those ways as well. So listen, pay attention. And if it's something that you do not agree with because you have been fed a lie or a misconception or a misunderstanding, then it is for you to rid yourself of those misconceptions, rid yourself of those misunderstandings, rid yourself, ladies, of those lies about men, and actually have genuine, open, transparent conversations with men. And if you hear something that you do not like, understand you're going to hear a lot more that you do not like. If you hear something you do not agree with, voice your disagreement, have a reason for your disagreement, and then come to the understanding that your disagreement does not trump facts. Your disagreement does not trump the true nature of most men. Not all men, but most men. If you want to communicate with us, ladies, if you want to communicate better, if you want us to listen better, and if you want us to communicate with you better, then listen to understand. And I don't think that's chauvinistic. I don't think it's sexist. I don't think it's misogynistic. Because, again, I think men need to do the same thing. But ladies always ask me the question, how can I better communicate with men? How can I better understand men? And then when I tell them, or when I give them an answer, or if I try to give them some advice and or insight on men, then it's a debate, because it's something they don't agree with, because it's something that does not fall in line fall in line with what they have been taught from other women. If you want to know about men, go to the source, which is men. Go to a man that you trust to give you the right information, not because he has an agenda, not because he's trying to be manipulative, not because he has an ulterior motive in mind, but it's because he's being straight up and honest with you. Go to that guy. Go to that guy. Go to that person that's going to tell you the truth. Because I always try to tell the truth. And I know some cats that will always tell the truth. And a lot of women don't like that truth. Sometimes when men hear certain truths about women, we don't like it. But you know what? It would be better for you to accept it, absorb it, deal with it, process it, and then you can better communicate with the opposite sex. Because that is the only way that we are going to improve relationship dynamics between us, between men and women, is if we communicate better. If we learn how to communicate more effectively. And that's not just in relationships. That could be in partnerships, in business relationships with colleagues, anything of that nature. Men and women need to start listening to understand and not necessarily respond. Because sometimes your response is way in left field, and I'm talking to you right here. Sometimes your response is so off subject and off track, and I'm talking to you right here. I'm conversing with you right here, and I just want you to understand me. Sometimes I don't need a response at all, but if you do respond, please respond in a manner that lets me know you listened, you understand, and now you can actually help me, or we can actually have a conversation about it. And it's not just you being defensive, it's not you being offended, it's not you throwing at me some things that are non-related to what I just shared with you. Ladies, understand this. This is what most men want, especially in their relationships, especially when it comes to communication. A lot of men don't know how to communicate effectively. A lot of men shut down when it comes to communication. I understand it. I get it. But if you want that man to open up, and if you want that man to learn, or at least invest time in learning how to communicate with you better, you have to communicate with him better. And it cannot be communication just based on your terms. It has to be communication that goes and flows both ways, because that is the only way that the relationships dynamics between men and women will improve. Thank you all for watching. Thank you ladies for watching. Please log on to ljhamilton.com, LJHAMILTON. Click on the shop tab. Check out my products. Check out my books. Check out my videos. Order those books. And I will see you all next week. Be blessed.